Hey everybody, I'm your host Simon. Today's episode is named Downshift, and I'm going to get you in gear and up to speed with the automotive world today, so that when we're done, you'll be the smartest kid on the block on full throttle. Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about a couple things, like some things to do with Apple, Honda, Ford, one of them was with Tesla, and combustion engines, and Germany. I mean, you already know what's going to happen. So, first off, Apple originally had a plan to make this car that competed with Tesla, that was battery powered and everything like that, that would just kill Tesla. But apparently there has been a lot of chaos in the market with Apple ever since we last heard about it, and that has pretty much led to the demise of it, because Bob Mansfield came up overly to the team, and a bunch of people, talented people, just decided to just leave and go on to do bigger and better things. And Apple just decided they wanted to work on the software for the cars, and they could just sell that to companies like Ford and Chevy and all that, and then they'd still probably make just as much money or more because they don't have to make a car. But yeah, they weren't prepared for to make the necessary investment into a market they had no idea what anything was, and that's a big investment to make when you have no idea what's going on. And yeah, they pretty much just were they don't want to do it anymore, for now at least. Their self-driving car just is dead as far as we know. Moving on, Honda news. Honda is recalling about 350,000 Honda Civic coupes and sedans with a 2-liter 4-cylinder and the turbocharged 1.5-liter 4-cylinder. The car's stability control software currently prevents drivers from setting the electronic parking brake immediately after switching off the ignition. If the driver attempts to do this, the brake will not engage, and a brake light may flash on the instrument panel for 15 seconds. If the car's brake isn't properly set and the car isn't in a parking gear, the car will roll away and potentially damage the car or hit somebody, depending on where you are. But no injuries or deaths have been reported yet, because I'm sure they tackled it super quick. The fix is owners can bring their affected Civics to a local Honda dealer where a software update will be installed free of charge to fix the issue. And if you own one, Honda will notify owners of affected cars by mail starting in early November. Owners can also check if their cars are affected by visiting recalls.honda.com, blah blah blah. You can read that if you have a problem. Next, we're going to have a couple things about the 2018 Ford Mustang and the current Mustang. First off, the Mustang is just not selling as well as it should, and it suffered about a 32% sales decline in September, which could just be because winter's coming and it's a rear-wheel drive car, and not that many people drive rear-wheel drive cars in the winter, just because a lot of people live in the snow or something like that. So they are handing the monthly sales crown to the Chevy Camaro for the first time in about 2 years. They are also shutting down the Flat Rock assembly plant in Michigan for a week as it deals with slower sales. And according to Bloomberg, on October 10th, with production set to resume on October 17th, the Flat Rock assembly plant is in charge of making Mustangs as well as the Lincoln Continental. As a part of Ford's labor agreements, the All 3,702 employees that work on the two vehicles will continue to be paid during the shutdown. And a Ford spokesman said, "We continue to match production with demand. Mustang remains the top seller in its segment in a total and retail sales." And last month, Chevy sold 6,577 Camaros, which is up from the previous September's 5,248 that edged out the Mustang, which tailed 6,429 last month. The last time the Camaro outsold the Mustang was in October 2014. So, obviously, the Mustang's been the champ for a while. But that was also when the new Mustang came out, the new model and everything. But this year, Ford has sold 87,000 Mustangs so far, which is down 9% from last year's figure during the same period. That tally, while down from the previous year, is still considerably ahead of Chevrolet's volume for the Camaro. So far in 2016, the Camaro has sold 54,534, which is way less than the Mustang, which is down approximately 11.3% from last year. And the Stang edged out the Camaro in our in Autoblog's Pony Car Shoutout, which you can see on their website. Hold on. This is from Autoblog that says the EcoBoost no longer are. Hold on. The EcoBoost is getting some power. No longer are V8 Mustang owners the only ones to get top level power. The company Ford is now offering an engine calibration and cold air intake that adds more power and loads of torque to the already potent 4-cylinder. Specifically, the EcoBoost Mustang Power Package gives the 4-cylinder 25 more peak horsepower and a whopping 70 more foot-pounds of torque. That brings numbers up to 335 horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque. And that's just 10 foot-pounds of torque away from the stock Mustang GT. And while those are the peak figures, there's other nice gains throughout the band, including as high as 100 more horsepower at 6,000 RPM. All this could be yours at a price of $699, and if the package is installed by a Ford Performance authorized dealer, you'll still be covered by a factory Ford warranty, which is even legal in all 50 states. So if you have emissions testing, you're good to go. So if you don't have the money for a GT but want the torque, I should say, the power is not, it's about 100 less, but the torque would be almost there. And for $700, which is still way less than a stock Mustang GT, there you go. You're not going to get the sound or anything, but hey, you get what you get for the money. And also about the Mustang is just a couple facts about the 2018 Mustang. And recently, a spy photographer caught an unusual addition to the next Ford Mustang, which is this big, weird box kind of on the hood. And they think it could be hood-mounted gauges or a hood scooper vent, but the way it's placed does not look like a hood scooper vent unless they're going to put one on the other side as well. But it's just very odd, and the hood-mounted gauges, if they had that, it just wouldn't look right. But a little longer ago, the Mustang may be getting just a refresh. Well, it will be getting a refresh, but it doesn't look. It's not going to look radically different based on the spy shots. But there is also a rumor that a GT500 or a Mach 1 will be coming out, and hasn't been out since GT500 hasn't been out since 2014, and a Mach 1 hasn't been out since 2003 or 2004. So it's time for that. And the GT350 just came out, so if GT500 doesn't seem totally normal, but hey, there you go. And moving on to Germany banning things again. They want to ban all combustion engine cars by 2030. All of them. And that would just kill so many people. They're not content with relying on financial incentives to usher in an era of pollution-free cars. The country's federal council passed a resolution calling for a ban on new internal combustion engine cars by 2030. From then on, you'd have to buy a zero-emissions vehicle, whether it's electric or running on a hydrogen fuel cell. And it's not legally binding, but the Federal Council is asking the European Commission to implement the ban across the European nation, which would be everybody over there. And the German regulations tend to shape EU policy. There's a chance that might happen. So that would mean a lot of companies would probably die by 2030 if Europe placed that. So like Audi, BMW, they'd all have to make electric cars. Not saying they can't and they don't, but it's just you would lose all of that. But the Council also wants the European Commission to review its taxation policies and their effect on the stimulation of emission-free mobility. It could involve stronger tax incentives for buying zero-emission cars, but it could also involve eliminating tax breaks from diesel cars in EU states. Automakers are already worried that tougher emission standards could kill diesels, remove the low cost of ownership, and it only hasten their demise. Oh, okay. And last but not least, the final Ford Falcon rolls off the line in Australia. The last one, after nearly 100 years of production. Australia is not going to be have a Ford factory in it. That's basically it. But thank you all for sticking around and listening to this. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.